He takes this alleged double cross personally and knows what it could lead to.
The idea of finding disloyal elements within those agencies carries with it not just an implication for Russia's foreign policy, but actually for the stability of Putin's regime, for the loyalty of those agencies that he depends on to hold on to power in Russia.
Now, what will Putin and his security services do with these alleged spies? Experts say if this had happened 20 years ago, they might already be dead. Now, with this case so heavily politicized and blown up in the media, experts say they're likely to go through a highly publicized trial, then possibly be imprisoned or executed. Wolf?
All right, Brian, thanks very much. So let's bring in our experts, our analysts. I want to start with Dianna Golodryga. Dianna, what do you make of Brian Todd's report?
Well, it could help explain why all 17 U.S. intelligence agencies were so confident that the Russians were, in fact, behind the DNC hack. It also suggests that there is a possibility that there's more information that the Russians have on U.S. hacking, what have you, that they haven't released yet. So there's still a lot of questions to be asked, but it helps explain at least why the agencies seem so confident that the Russians were behind it.
Yeah, they certainly do seem pretty confident, very confident. You're absolutely right on that. Dianna, there was a little confusion today when the Treasury Department here in Washington eased some of the sanctions that the Obama administration had imposed on the Russian security service, the intelligence service known as the FSB, used to be the KGB, as a result of the cyber attacks, eased it slightly today, and there was some confusion how significant that was. What is your understanding?
Yeah, my understanding is similar to what Jake Sullivan told you earlier, that in fact this is rather routine. I would say what's not routine, though, is the timing of it. There had been a lot of pressure from U.S. businesses in Russia, particular, to have those sanctions lifted and eased. That had been going on, and they'd been pressuring the Trump administration for a while. But why do it today? Why do it in a week when fighting has only escalated in eastern Ukraine, as your report just suggested? Why seem to reward Russia? You saw the stock market rally significantly once those sanctions were lifted. So whether or not this was just a symbolic move, the Russians seem to view a lot more into it.
Yeah, Dana Bash, Dianna makes an excellent point. As soon as I heard about that Treasury move today, I say, wow, in the midst of what's going on in eastern Ukraine right now, the Treasury Department easing sanctions on the Russian intelligence agency accused of being involved in the cyber attacks?
Not only that, but given the fact that there is so much pressure on this new Republican president by his Republican colleagues in Congress, from the leadership on down, to increase sanctions and to do it through legislation. And instead, what the administration did was, ease some of the sanctions. Now, what the White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said today does tend to be true, that historically, when sanctions are imposed, as time goes on and the United States gets petitions from certain industries, as has happened in this case, then they tend to say, okay, well, we can carve out for you. In this particular case, we are talking about the agency that was the former KGB, but with regard to how Russia operates, it means that any technology company pretty much in the U.S. they were stopped from doing any business in Russia because they had to go through this agency that had sanctions imposed on them. So that is understandable, but the reality and the optics are very, very different things on something that is so incredibly untenable right now vis-a-vis the political arguments that many people are making in this country, again, in the president's own party, that you got to be tougher on Russia and show no sign of letting up.